I'm waiting the go. It's okay? Okay. So hi and welcome in understanding Kubernetes in a visual way. First of all, I'm French, and I stutter, so the accent will not be perfect. Sorry, but I hope you like the talk. I'm Holweich. I'm a developer advocate at OVH Cloud. It's a European cloud provider, and what I like is try to helping, sharing people, and to try to make tooling accessible. Kubernetes has become the de facto standard in the containers orchestration world. We heard about it every day. But it can be difficult and time-consuming to understand Kubernetes. And it is not easy to know where and how to start. So maybe a new way of learning can help us to understand Kubernetes and other cloud technology. What if I told you that several years ago I invented a new way of explaining Kubernetes by in a visual way by accident? I will tell you a story. I will tell you my story. In 2020, during the first lockdown, I lay down on my bed one Saturday or Sunday. I took my old tablet and I asked me how I imagine a pod, and I started doodling, drawing Pokeballs. For me, a pod is like a Pokeball, and inside you can have one or more containers. And I started scribbling what you could see in the screen. Well, I want to. It was not very beautiful, but the little seed was sown, and it was the beginning of a great adventure. Then I tweeted it. It might be time for me to realize an idea I have, to give some tips, information on Kubernetes and writing in drawing. Useful, not useful, already seen, should I give up? Well, you can see in the last sentence the confidence I have in what I do, but I got a lot of reaction telling me that we understood so much and that I had to continue. I have been using Kubernetes for years while working at Continental for several years. I develop and deploy microservices for connected and autonomous vehicles, and I fell into Kubernetes very quickly. I discovered a new world with concepts that I didn't know, and I quickly liked it. It was not easy because Kubernetes was not as mature as today, but it was a very interesting adventure. So I sketched Kubernetes every day, every evening, every night for months and months and months, and in fact, I had the impression that I had a lot of things in my head and that I had to get them out by sketchnoting. Several months later, I created the first version of the ebook of Kubernetes in a visual way. After sometimes I wanted to do better, so I changed my old tablet to an iPad, and after completely rewriting and redrawing it, and after rewriting it and redrawing again and again and again to fit the book margin, I realized my dream: auto-edited and auto-published a book on Amazon. Finally, after 2 years of personal work, it was read. I made something. The book includes all the Kubernetes concepts, includes pod, nodes, volume, tools, and even changes since Kubernetes 1.18. I went even further by making short video on YouTube to explain a Kubernetes concept in 2-3 minutes with a mix of sketch note and video. And I still continue to create new sketch note every week, month, depending on the new Kubernetes releases. Spoiler alert, I have started to create a new one with the new 1.33 release. And I continue to update the book with a free update in a PDF. But why explaining in a different way is important? Because there are currently 8 billion people on Earth. We are all different. We all think differently. We don't have the same logic. We don't have the same way of thinking. And there are around 15% of people neurotypical diagnosed in the world, but there are more. And the majority of books are done in the same way. They all look the same. So we need a different way to explain and to learn things. Now we will try to understand Kubernetes in a visual way. Okay? Ready? Let's start to explain what is Kubernetes. Okay, so Kubernetes is an open source container orchestrator. Well, I admit that doesn't help us much. Think of Kubernetes as an orchestra conductor. Declaratively, we ask the orchestrator what we want, and the orchestrator will do everything possible to ensure that this request, this state, is always respected. It will manage the resources, the machine, and the communication between containers, both externally and internally. To do this, we will write YAML manifest. These are partitions that Kubernetes must follow. Kubernetes is based on several components. In the control plane, you can find several internal components, such as the etcd distributed database, the scheduler, the controller manager, and the API server, which exposes the API of a Kubernetes cluster. Please note that when you use manage Kubernetes, which with a cloud provider, the control plane will be managed by the provider. It will updated, so you won't have to deal with it. The data plane will be composed of components such as kubelets and proxy, which run on each node. We will be able to interact with the API server thanks to kubectl, which is a command line tool. Let's explain one of the most useful concepts, pods. Our application, our workloads, will run in containers, which themselves will run in pods. Kubernetes is language agnostic, which means you can deploy your microservice, you can develop them in multiple language tools. A pod is the smallest unit deployable and runnable in a cluster. And a pod can contain one or more containers, and each pod has a unique IP address. Now we will see some useful kubectl commands that we can use when we deal with pods. To display the list of pods, we can type kubectl get pods -n my namespace. If you want to create a pod with, for example, BusyBox workload, we just have to type kubectl run what BusyBox and to specify the image and some flag. We can edit directly the pod also with kubectl edit pod mypod command. We can delete it with kubectl delete pod mypod and tips: if you want to delete the pod right now, you have to use the grace period flag. Now we can talk about nodes. A node is a physical or virtual machine. Our application will run in pods, which themselves run in nodes. Each node contains all the services needed to run pods, such as the container runtime and kubelet, better. Now let's explain deployments. Deployments are responsible that pods they handle are running. If a pod becomes unhealthy, it will create a new pod and will delete the old one. Hello. Deployment create a replica set. We will create one or more several pods depending on the number of specified replicas. Let's move on. My favorite part, the kubectl commands. If I want to list all the deployment in a namespace, I'll just have to type kubectl get deployments -n my namespace. We can create a deployment that will create a pod with a Nginx image for example, with kubectl create what deploy, which one Nginx deployment, and we specify the image. We can do it in an imperative way with the command, and also in a declarative way with a YAML manifest. So here, as you can see, so we can define the name of the deployment, the number of pods, and the image and other labels. We can update directly only the image of a container with kubectl set image comment. Is very useful. And my favorite command is kubectl scale deploy. It allows you to scale easily a deployment to 1, 5, 10, what you want pods. And you can delete a deployment easily with kubectl delete deploy command. Now let's explain services in a visual way. Our application run in pods, and these pods are ephemeral and immortal. So services allow us to access our application via a unique IP address. We'll be able to assign a unique DNS name to a group of pods. This will allow us to access our My Awesome app via the address myawesomeapp -space svc.cluster.local. The set of pods, the group of pods targeted by a service is usually determined by a selector. You can find it visually. We have several kinds of services. Cluster IP is the default one. It allows you to expose a service through an IP address internal to the Kubernetes cluster. Please note that this type of service will only be accessible within the cluster. The node port will be accessible outside the cluster, but through the node IP. The load balancer service will assign a fixed external IP address and will create an external load balancer. Please note that the solution only works with a cloud provider. So, for example, when you create a service of type load balancer on the managed cube by OVH, this will create a new external load balancer and will create an external IP address. The external name service allows you to provide an internal name, an internal alias for the cluster that redirects to an external DNS address. So request from a pod to your service will then be redirected to an external site, for example, to scrally.com. Now, we'll see some comments. If I want to list all the service, I will type kubectl get service. And oh yeah, okay. So as you can see, I have done a mistake. So this one, if I want only one service, my SVC, I just have to type kubectl get service my SVC, and in the result, I will have all the information for my service with the name, the type, the cluster IP, and if it's a load balancer, I will have the external IP. If I want to create a service that exposes a deployment, I will do this. Will kubectl expose deployment, my deploy, type load balancer, and I can fill the name and the target port and the namespace. I can create a pod directly and expose it via services. So with kubectl run my pod command, I can specify the image, the port, and with the expose flag, Kubernetes will create a new service and the pod, of course. Okay, so I have a service, so I can edit it. Okay, so I can type kubectl edit SVC my SVC. Yes, but no. Be careful. You can have some immutable fields, so you can't edit the cluster IP field. If you want it, you have to delete the service and to create a new one. Now we will see namespaces. What is that? Namespace is a form of isolation. This allows you to isolate your application by project, by team, or by family of components. Resources name must be unique in a namespace, but not across different namespace. So you can have a service named MySVC in my namespace 2 and also in my namespace 1. Be careful if you delete namespace, it will delete all the objects inside it. Note that all resources are not in a namespace. In the case of node and persistent volume that are cluster wide. We will see some useful commands finally for namespace. If I want to list all the pods in all the namespace, I can type kubectl get pods -- all namespaces, or you can use the hey uppercase. It will be quicker. And when you have to type the command a lot of time every day, please use it. If I want the list of all the namespace, I could tab kubectl get namespace. I can create it with kubectl create ns my namespace, and I can delete it, and this will create all the objects inside it with kubectl delete ns my namespace. The cool thing is that everything I show to you, you can do it with the manage Kubernetes, and we have a private image registry based on Arbor, and we have also a launcher manager. And as I like the infrastructure as code, I worked a lot in the Terraform, OpenTofu, and the Pulumi provider, so you can easily deploy Kubernetes cluster without any struggle. It's cool. And the little last news is that we launch a new premium plan for our MKS. It's free. So if you want to test it, go. And I will give some feedback to our teams. To conclude, by listening to my own creativity and my own imagination, during a not easy period of my life, I could create a new way of explaining complicated technical concepts and show that it is possible. And I realized that my personal way of explaining could help other people of different job edges and continent. And my purpose of this talk is to encourage you to listen to your own imagination and your own creativity, to create some content and to share it otherwise. If what I told you interests you, I have a blog, I have YouTube channel, and my books are available. I have one about Kubernetes, Docker, and Kiitos. If you have some feedback, I created a small form, and I think we have 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute. If you have some remarks or some question. Do you like the draw? Yeah. It was helpful or not? Well, yeah. Thank you.
I think it's very good to learn how to communicate these things. I sometimes need to do workshops for students, for example.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna.
Students like it. Yeah, a lot. Thank you.